Hi guys, this is Tina. Welcome back to my channel. So yet again, I'm here with some more kind of Digi creations that I've done. So this one here is a Toadstool themed kit. So if you've kind of checked out my shop recently, you may have noticed that I've got kind of, you know, various different types of items. So I've obviously got kind of individual things like the, you know, fussy cut items, or kind of journaling cards and things like that. Then I've got the kind of complete kits, which, you know, tend to be slightly dearer and, you know, contain quite a lot of pages. And then what I thought I would do is, just to give people kind of some extra options, is do some kind of like in between items, I suppose. So I've done a few of these, which I'll be doing videos of over the next few days, and I'm not quite sure what order they will be uploaded in. But you're going to have kind of a body of the kit which you can purchase kind of separately, and then you're going to have background papers to match the kit, which again you can purchase separately. And obviously this works out quite cost effective because obviously, you know, they're smaller downloads, so you know they're not kind of so pricey as a full-blown kit. And obviously if you just wanted the you know, the elements, or just wanted the background pages, you could do that instead of purchasing the whole kit. So that said, I will now kind of go on to show you the Toadstool themed one. So in this particular kit, you've got 5 pages which are in the main body. So as I say, this is a 1 PDF download for this 5-page element. So if I show you that first, so here you've got kind of journaling cards, you've got tickets, you've got these cute hearts, and you've got these little kind of what I would call like stamps. And then kind of you've got some words here. So that's the first page. Then the second page here, you've got some more journaling cards around the other way, slightly different. And then you've got, again, more kind of what I would refer to as kind of stamps, and then another little heart, some more little kind of tickety, labely, journaly kind of spots. And then you've got a couple of tags here. And then on the next page, you've got one of the kind of double-ended tickets. You've got a big round, either tag or kind of embellishment piece. A couple of gorgeous hearts there. Another kind of journaling spot. And then this gorgeous big kind of journaling piece. And then a kind of I don't really know what you would call this, but just a kind of fussy cut piece, I guess, for a decorative embellishment piece. And then you've got some more little words here. And on this page, you've got, again, some more kind of decorative pieces, some more journaling cards, another kind of ticket, slightly larger one, and this gorgeous kind of banner, another ticket and another heart. And then on the final page, you've got what I would refer to as a kind of stationery piece. So, you know, kind of like a writing paper piece, which I think are kind of nice, and then a file folder here. So obviously the whole thing kind of, you know, coordinates really beautifully together. This one's a really bright, colourful, you know, I mean, I'm drawn to colour. So for me, this is a really fun, cute kind of kit to work with, and, you know, hopefully, and to, you know, have put together. So that's the kind of, you know, embellishment pieces. And then in a separate purchase, you know, available as a separate purchase, is a separate PDF file, which again is just 1 PDF file. That is so that you can set your printer to the borderless settings, and you will then be able to print, you know, without white borders. And that contains 10 background pages, all obviously coordinating nicely with the body of the kit. So this is your first background page. Then you've got this one, and then you've got this one. Oops, I have 2 stuck together there. Then you've got this one. Then you've got this one. This one. This one here. This one here. This one here. Oops, have I already shown you this one? Not sure whether I might have already shown you this one. Maybe I had 2 of those printed out. Yes, I do apologise. I think I've already shown you that one, so I apologise for that. And then you've got this one. So really cute, fun papers. So, you know, hopefully will kind of prove really fun and different to work with. You know, I love the kind of vintage style and kind of the old vintage kind of florals and ladies and things like that. But sometimes nice to kind of mix it up and do something a little bit different. So I thought what we could quickly do, if I just move my fabric piece that I like to kind of put down just to cover my messy surface, I thought we could just kind of have a bit of a play with a couple of the items from the kits. Now I haven't coffee dyed these or anything. I've just left them kind of printed. So the background papers I just printed on regular copy paper, and these I have printed on white cardstock. So you'll have to excuse the backs of these because obviously when I was playing with it, I had obviously printed kind of on the back, and then to be a bit more economical with my card, I reprinted obviously, you know, once I changed colours and sizes and things like that. So these are the finished ones. So what I thought we could do is have a little bit of a play. So I thought the first piece, I've just brought some little bits along with me to kind of be able to get cracking straight away, so it's not kind of there endlessly deliberating. So what I've got here, this is a section of a little kind of envelope that I've just literally cut out from the corner. So obviously it's already attached in two corners because it was obviously part of an envelope. I quite like the way it's got the lines and things like that. I think that's really rather nice. And so what I thought we could do is just literally kind of have a play and decorate the envelope. Now, I thought I was being so organised, and now I've come here. I can't remember now which piece I thought I would use. Oh well, we'll just go with any piece really. So if I just kind of maybe cut these couple of bits here, I will cut the heart just in case we want to use that as well. So I'll just kind of move that to one side. So we'll just kind of cut here. So, and I want to just say a massive thank you to everybody for your lovely, you know, support and things with my kind of launching of my digitals. Well, I mean, not really launching, but I suppose, you know, doing more of the digitals. You know, I hope everyone who's purchased them are having fun with them. You know, hopefully kind of you're all enjoying using them. You know, I hope that you're kind of all pleased with them because, you know, I obviously kind of wouldn't upload them if I didn't think that they were going to be nice and kind of fun to use. So, you know, I've had some really lovely comments from people, and, you know, a couple of people have messaged me saying that they're, you know, loving using them and things like that. And so I just want to say a massive thank you for that. Just a little tip, because I've had, I think it's 3 people who have had problems printing, not on the same kit, on different, you know, completely different kits. And it would seem that sometimes people have tried to print from preview, you know, rather than kind of downloading and opening the file. And then they might get these black kind of marks on, like a kind of black background on the kit itself. So just to kind of be aware, it's probably best to actually download it and open it rather than try and print it from the preview. I mean, obviously I'm no kind of printing expert or anything, and I can just kind of, you know, go by the feedback that I've had. And the other person who emailed, it seemed that they had a bit of a problem with a kind of memory overload. So they kind of restarted their machine, they started their printer, and, you know, started from scratch, and that seemed to solve the problem. You know, so just kind of a couple of things I suppose to be aware of. And I mean, personally, I haven't experienced those problems, but having said that, I did print something probably about 2 years ago at work. It wasn't any journal kind of item or anything. It was a kind of, you know, a work related thing. And strangely enough, that had black background. So maybe that is a common thing. You know, I don't know. But just something, I guess, to kind of be aware of. So I just thought I would mention that. But, you know, aside from that, I wanted to say thank you so much, you know, to everyone for your really lovely support, and, you know, that you seem to be enjoying the kind of digital, you know, working with the digital products. And yeah, thank you for letting me know that, because it's really nice to kind of hear the feedback, and, you know, it's really nice to know that people are kind of enjoying what you've created, isn't it? So, you know, thank you very much. Right, so I've just literally cut out a couple of things that, you know, I thought we could kind of have a play with. So I quite like this one. Now, as you can see, this is obviously a little bit bigger than the envelope piece that I'm going to be gluing it down to. Now, that doesn't really, actually, I've just noticed, I was going to say it doesn't really worry me, but actually I have just noticed that there is another one here that's lengthways, and so actually I'm going to use that one, I think, instead, because that will just fit better onto that envelope. So let me now just quickly cut that instead. So there we go. Yeah, this particular kit I just thought was kind of fun. I'd had it in my mind for a while that I wanted to do something kind of Toadstool-y. I didn't imagine that it would turn out like this. I don't know about you, but it's a bit like when creating a journal. I have no idea how it's going to actually look at the end, because I just kind of go where the feeling takes me. And often it's nothing like I would have imagined it to look, if you see what I mean. And so that was kind of the same when I thought, you know, I'd like to do a Toadstool-y thing. I love the look of toadstools. I know that sounds a really strange thing to say, but I just think they're such a cute kind of image that, yeah, I just kind of wanted to do something with them. And as I say, I didn't have any kind of clue how they were going to look, or how the finished kit was going to look. But it just happened that obviously the images themselves were pretty bright and colourful. So it seemed kind of wrong to then mix them with really sort of, I suppose, colourless kind of things. I also really love gingham, so that's kind of where the gingham kind of thing came in. And I also really love bunting, so that's where obviously the bunting came in. And I just thought that the kind of the gingham, the brights, the bunting, for some reason in my mind really went well with the toadstools. So that's where that kind of evolved from. So here's the little piece that we've just cut out. And then what I thought, you know, would be kind of nice to do is mix it maybe with a bit of kind of sheet music. So I'm just going to literally, this is just literally a scrap that I've had kind of on my workspace, and I just thought, oh, I'm going to use that, you know, and it's one less thing on my workspace, but to be honest, I mean, workspace is such a mess, it will not, you know, make any difference. But it was just kind of laying around there, so I just thought, oh, I know, I will utilise that. So I've kind of cut that, or torn that round. So I'm just going to tear it off here at the top, because there's quite a bit of white space. Now this is quite vintage sheet music, and I don't know whether you can kind of see, but it's literally cracking as I'm touching it. It's kind of falling apart. So the sooner I get that kind of glued onto the envelope, the better, I think, because I don't know how much longer it's even going to kind of stay together before I glue it down. So I'm going to have it this way round, because on this side I've got the kind of seam here, you know, the folded over part. So it will kind of open, oops, it'll open this way. And I'm just going to literally kind of place them, you know, randomly around. So I'm going to get gluing them straight down, so as not to kind of really dilly-dally around too much. I'm just using my wet glue, oops, which now is not playing the game. This is quite a full one, but it is a little bit blocked already, which is a bit annoying. So let me just use a little pen to unblock it. I did unblock it before I started the video, believe it or not, but, you know, hence the first the first trickle of glue came out, but sometimes you then kind of need to unblock it several times to actually kind of get it to work well. So here we go, I think it's working a bit better now. There we go. And literally pop that down before it literally falls apart on me. So there we go. I might just use my Starbucks card there to kind of make sure it's properly glued down and just get rid of any excess glue. So I've just got a piece of tissue here, whoops, which I will just dab the excess off like that. And then this piece I thought I would just put here, and obviously you know, I cannot possibly do anything without adding lace and flowers and goodness knows what, really. So what I'm going to do, let me zoom in slightly more. So what I'm going to do, I've just got, again, these are just little scraps that I had laying around from my last thing that I was working on, but I just thought colour-wise that actually went, you know, it went quite nicely. So I'm just going to add some lace. Now, I don't know whether I want the lace kind of at the top or the bottom, but what I will do, I think, is glue this piece down first before kind of gluing the lace down or playing around with the lace. And as I say, obviously this has got things on the back of it because where I was printing to try and get the printables, you know, as I wanted them. So that's why it's got those things on the back. Again, I'll just get my tissue, just to kind of dab up any glue that's kind of oozing out. All my stuff is balanced very precariously, I mean, as it often is, but today it seems extra wobbly, so I hope it's going to kind of hold and not all drop down as it sometimes does. So I've then got this lace, still can't decide quite whether top or bottom would be better. But also what I've also done was I grabbed a couple of flowers, little paper flowers here, just from my stash that I just thought, you know, would go quite nicely with the kit. So I've got this gorgeous green one, which this wasn't green. I literally dyed this with some Dilutions sprays, kind of just mixing the colours together, and it just flukily came out, this gorgeous green. I did that a long time ago, but I just happened to kind of stumble across it and thought, oh, perfect colour. So we could have that. And then we could have a little red heart on there, for kind of a bit of contrast. And what we could do is add one of the words. So if we get, say, this one here, memories. Just cut that one out. Oops. Sometimes I quite like tearing things like little words and things, you know, which is kind of fun, isn't it, to do? But I just thought in this particular case I'll just cut it out. I'm going to just rough it up slightly, like that. Just so it's kind of a bit more dimension going on. And then, oops, put in the bin. We could just kind of have it here like this. I'm still undecided about the lace, whether the lace is top or bottom. I do like the lace at the top, really, but that bottom bit, I'm aware, is very plain. I'll just have a look through the kit to see whether we could add another piece. So I've got these cute little stamps, what I would call kind of stamps. So let's see if one of those might look good there. Or I've also got these little kind of journaling labels. So I'll just cut those out. So I'll just cut one of these first. Probably this one. Oops. Like that. just keen to kind of get rid of that plain space down there, which just I thought looked quite boring. So that looks quite nice, I think. So what I'll do is I think glue this one down. Like that. And I'm just going to kind of put it off at a kind of jaunty angle. Not too much, but just a little bit, because that kind of adds a little sense of fun to the overall look of it. And then we'll just kind of have it, I think, like this or something. Might even put that memories on a little piece of lace as well. So what I might do is actually now distress ink this up. So let me just grab kind of a scrap of paper just to lean on, or you know, not lean on, but kind of distress ink against. So, and again, I'm just using normal vintage photo. I'm just going to distress ink around that. So, and I mean, by distress inking it, you can kind of see how it would have looked had I obviously coffee dyed it, which, you know, I think just looks really cute. So if I kind of show you the two examples, kind of side by side up kind of close, you know, this is obviously the one that's just on the plain white cardstock, and this now distress inked, giving a little bit how it would look, I guess, if it was coffee dyed. So I think they'd come up really beautifully. So that's that. And then actually I best just distress ink the word as well that we're going to kind of stick on there as well. Like that. And then we'll just take some lace and pop that at the top. So I will just stick the lace, I think, with the hot glue. And again, this is just kind of, you know, for time efficiency really. So one extreme to the other, my wet glue wasn't really kind of playing the game, and I don't know whether anyone could see that, but the hot glue just is oozing out everywhere. So sometimes it comes out like that. Again, I'm not sure why that happens. And I've just cut the lace kind of overhanging on the edges. You know, I don't always do that or anything, but again, for me, that kind of adds to a little bit of a sense of fun here on this little piece. So I just thought that looked kind of cute, really. So, and then we're going to have our word, and we're going to have our flower. And then the other thing that I'm going to do is pop a little button, I think, somewhere. I have also got these little orange flowers, which, again, I kind of dug out to, you know, I just literally kind of pulled in a few things that I thought would kind of match with the theme and the colours. So I might just pop that little flower on there. I'll just stick that with some wet glue. This is the original colour, not necessarily the original colour of this green one, but I just mean I haven't dyed that one. Now, in this little jar is a jar of buttons. These are not vintage. These are kind of just my bright, fun, colourful buttons that I've accumulated over my years of crafting. My vintage ones I keep kind of in a separate container. So I just thought I would go for these, you know, newer buttons, because I thought that colour-wise, I've got lots of really bright, colourful buttons in here, where my vintage ones, there are some bright, colourful ones, you know, there definitely are. But I just thought, you know, I knew that I had lots of really bright, fun ones in here. So I thought it would be ideal to kind of just drag those in. Right. So I've just selected a little cluster of buttons there that we can kind of then see where we want them to go. So we're going to have the word memories here and the little flower. So I'm going to just stick that on now. Oops. Like that. And then we've got the flower. And then button wise, might just pop kind of a couple of buttons down there in the corner, which, you know, looks really cute, doesn't it? So again, I'll just glue this flower down, and then I'm just going to, again for speed, just literally hot glue the buttons on. So we've got that one there, and then we've got this gorgeous orange heart, which just kind of contrasts really nicely. Just pop that down there. Oops. I didn't really want it at quite such an angle, but it's too late now. It's that hot glue seemed to just instantly adhere to the piece. So, I mean, I think that just looks so, so, so cute. And actually, we could even pop a little button up there, to be honest, if we wanted. Don't know if it really needs it, but I can't stop sometimes. I'm just going to grab the buttons back because I may prefer something more similar to that colour, I think, kind of on that lace. So I'll just see what other options there are. Oh, we have got this orange kind of muted type tone. Got this green one here. Just have a bit of a rummage. I mean, I've said this before, my gosh, I probably never in my whole life need to buy a button again. Obviously I will, because, you know, as per kind of crafting, you just sometimes can't help yourself, can you? Even though you definitely don't need to be buying anything else. But yeah, I've got enough buttons to last me a whole lifetime, I think. Right, so this one obviously is the same as this, but just on a smaller scale. And that was kind of what I had in mind to pop on there. So I think I'm going to just glue that down. There we go. Oops, just attach it on there. Oh, now I've got threads of glue, literally never ending coming out of there. So that's my little kind of piece there. And I don't know whether I've got a journal page kind of ready folded that I can show you how that would look. So if I just kind of bring this page in, obviously this is just really a kind of scrap page, but I just wanted to give you an idea. Let me zoom out a bit of how that would look kind of on the page. So, you know, you could kind of glue it down however you like, really. You could even have it as a kind of pocket. So by gluing it like that, and then just pop it on here, and you could have then a pocket there, and obviously the piece itself, which is now glued together, right, the piece itself as a kind of pocket as well. And then obviously in the pocket you could then just, oops, take one of the, or a couple of the journaling cards, and just pop them or it into the pocket. And obviously you could decorate these up or not, really, you know, kind of as per, you know, whatever you chose, whether you wanted to decorate them or not. You know, I mean, I think they're perfectly fine as they are, but you may just want to kind of add like a little piece of lace or anything else kind of to them. So I'll just cut the other one out. So although these are kind of, you know, cut down versions of a full kit, if you see what I mean, I think there are still plenty of elements and pieces to have a lot of fun with. I have now forgotten how many pieces that there actually are in this particular kit that is listed on the Etsy listing. I feel 47 is like sticking in my head for some reason, but I may be way off the mark there. I might be getting completely confused with something else. So, you know, please don't take that as gospel. That may not be the case at all. And all of these vary. So some of the other ones that I've created, you know, have kind of different numbers because they may have kind of bigger pieces on the pages, if you see what I mean. So I think this is the largest one out of all of these. Right, So there's my 2 little journaling cards. So if we imagine that this was just glued onto the page there, you could just then obviously pop these into there, which just, how cute is that? You could even kind of, you know, have them kind of showing a little bit, which just looks so cute. Or you could obviously stick them on, you know, or stick one on as a kind of bit of a decorative background. That would just pop in there, you know, kind of to play around and kind of see what you think, really. But really cute images to play with, I think, you know, and kind of nice and fun to do pieces that are, you know, a bit different kind of colour wise and style wise. So I'll just see what the time is. So it's 30 minutes, so we may have time to just have a little play with perhaps one more item. So if I just grab, again, I brought some other things along. If I just grab this envelope here, so this is just a square envelope. It's actually the envelope that I did the original Burst in Blooms envelopes from. So with this envelope, I'm just deciding kind of how might be nice to use this. So it might be nice to actually use it as, you know, either kind of glue this down and use it by cutting it and having it as a pocket, or as kind of an envelope that could just be kind of paper clipped on at the top. So I think for the purposes of this one, I'm just going to literally have it kind of, you know, normal, regular way up as it should be, if you see what I mean. I'm not going to glue the flat down at the moment while I kind of decide. And I'm just going to take, right, I'm going to try and remember where I actually put that. I'm just going to take another item from the, you know, the embellishment pieces. So let's have a look and see what we might like to use. It probably would be nice to now use something more red based, because obviously we have used the green shades on the other one. So if we kind of go for this. Now, I don't know whether this is going to work. I haven't, you know, I haven't planned what I was going to do. I just grabbed some pieces. So this may not work at all. But I just wonder whether we might be able to kind of incorporate this somewhere. I'm not sure. Not sure. So we'll see how it goes. But first of all, I'll just start by cutting around this piece here. That. Okay, so we could kind of place that on there. I'm just going to cut this out. Now, I don't know whether this will even fit, if you see what I mean, with that journaling card, but I'll just cut it out so as we've got it available to us. Oops. Quite like these kind of banners and things. I think they're kind of fun to have, you know, just for something a bit different, I suppose. Right. So we've got that piece there. So, I mean, as I say, you know, I don't know whether this is going to kind of work or not at all. But, you know, that to me looks kind of fun and kind of cute. So we could have that. Now I've got some more scraps of sheet music here that again we're just kind of laying around on my workspace. So I'm just going to kind of tear that down a bit. And as you can see, I mean, they definitely have seen better days. So I'm just wondering whether we could kind of have that behind there. Oops. But you know, I mean, I thought it was quite surprising how well these cute, fun sort of images went with the vintage sheet music, because who knew, you know, that kind of images like this would actually kind of look okay with vintage sheet music. But, you know, I definitely think that they look super cute against it. So we could just have that there, like that. I think that looks really nice, just like that. So I will glue this on. Did we like it the fussy side or the kind of, oops, the plainer side? Actually, I think I maybe prefer the plainer side. No, I think I prefer the fussy side. Right, let's just glue that on. And again, I'm keen to glue this down because this is such fragile paper. It really isn't kind of holding up very well. So, you know, the sooner I get that glued on, the better, kind of thing. There we go. And again, every time that I'm jogging the table, I can just see everything wobbling around where it's balanced. I am standing up to do these because I don't know really why, but I started standing up, I suppose, when I'm showing the kits. Kind of, you know, I'm starting by standing up, and for some reason then just, yeah, end up staying standing. Right. Okay, just pop that there. Like that. Okay, so then we've got those pieces there. So obviously I like to use lace, so I'm going to kind of hopefully incorporate a bit of lace somewhere. And again, I'm just literally using any old scraps that I just have got laying around because, you know, it's good to kind of use all these little scraps and pieces up, isn't it? So, you know, we could kind of even have like top and bottom. That looks kind of quite cute. I've got some doily here, which we could add. That looks quite sweet like that, doesn't it? What do you think, everybody? What I might do is actually distress ink the pieces so that, you know, individually before I kind of glue them on. So just going to literally distress ink around this a bit. Oops, flicking it all over now. Right, distress ink the kind of main journaling piece as well. Oh gosh. Right, and then I'm just going to distress ink where the sheet music obviously has been glued down. Okay, so then we can just get a little bit of a better idea of kind of how we want this to look. So, I mean, I think that's quite nice with the, you know, the doily piece kind of hanging out there. So I may have to go with that, I think. And then obviously the banner, which I just think looks really quite cute on there. And obviously we could just glue it top and bottom, and you'd then have a little pocket there, which, how fun is that? So let's glue down the doily. Oh, come on. My glue, it just doesn't want to play today. Oh, gosh, hold on. Let me try and now clear this blocked up nozzle again. So I'm back to obviously being horrendously disorganised on this video. But sometimes, you know, the thing is, I don't know about you guys, but you can't kind of really plan what you're going to do in the video because, you know, well, I don't know about all of you, but I don't really work that way. I kind of just have to go with the flow as it comes to me. So I can bring along bits and pieces, you know, for instance, unclog my glue. But then obviously in the course of the video, it may well clog back up, which is obviously what's happening now. And, you know, you can't really kind of odds that, can you? So, kind of something like this. Now I'm just deciding whether we could keep this as a top pocket as well. And I think we could. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to glue it quite a bit on this one so that it's not kind of interfering, if you see what I mean, with the banner that's going to be kind of above it. So I'm just going to kind of glue that there, quite a bit of glue on that side, and then just a small smidge of glue running along the rest of it. Just like that. So if we pop that kind of here, like that, and then just wipe away any excess, like that. And then, so this is now glued down kind of quite a bit on this side, if you see what I mean, because I didn't really want to kind of have this as a, you know, belly band here if this was quite open, because it would be kind of putting a stress on the top of here. So now that I don't have that problem, because obviously this is glued down right to kind of this sort of point. So we can pop that on there. Now I'm just deciding whether, yeah, let's just go for that. So if I kind of do it about here. So I'm going to glue it down quite a bit, kind of at the top, if you see what I mean. So it's not just the very tip that's kind of glued down, and then quite a bit again at the bottom, like that. Let me just glue that down like that. Oops. In fact, I'm going to move it over so you can't really see the end of the journaling card beneath it. Okay, just dab off that glue now where I'd obviously had to move it over. I didn't want it originally. I thought, oh, I don't want it overhanging on the edge of the envelope, but actually I don't think it's going to really matter, because you know, it doesn't matter if that's overhanging. It may even be, you know, quite nice to have it overhanging. So we've got that like that. Oops. And then we could just have kind of piece of lace up there. And then we could have obviously a little button. Oops. Oh gosh, I'm having a clumsy day. A clumsy day going on again today. And then, I mean, I have got this little red flower, which we could have down here. Could put a little green button down there. Oh, that's so pretty, isn't it? So I think for the first piece, sorry, you'll have to excuse my husband who's calling downstairs while I'm just doing this video. He's obviously telling the children to get up because it's the weekend. I don't often do videos at the weekend, but because they were still asleep, not my daughter, she's obviously up, but my boys, who are obviously teenagers, well, the younger one's not quite a teenager yet, but the older one is, they're obviously at that stage where they just sleep in endlessly. So I thought I'd quickly make the most of it and come and do a video, you know, while they're still in bed. Right. Not sure whether that green heart is quite the right colour, but still. Right. I'm just going to, for speed, just glue this red flower down with the hot glue, like that. I'm going to just go for it and stick this green button down. Oops. And actually, that maybe is nicer, actually, like that. Because that green is kind of then darker on the grass there, so it kind of, for me, that just is better. Whereas kind of up on the lace, it seemed quite far away from any other deep green colour. So there we go, really super cute little envelope there. And then, as I say, we've got this little piece here that we can then tuck in. So if I just grab the distress ink here, oops. We can just pop that in there. So cute. And then we can obviously pop something else in the top, which I'm just wondering actually just having a look at the background papers at the moment. I guess what we could do is kind of actually for inside the envelope, kind of cut a piece. So I'm going to cut this piece just literally kind of along here. Like that. Now obviously, as I say, I have not coffee dyed these, so they would have obviously been nicer coffee dyed, because then they wouldn't be the stark white paper on the back, but hey ho, never mind. So just cutting that down, just check it will kind of fit in the envelope, and then literally you can just fold that over as a kind of journaling piece of paper. So obviously if that were, you know, coffee dyed, that would obviously look, you know, a lot nicer, in keeping with the rest of the pieces that we've obviously just distress inked. Now I'm not going to attempt to obviously coffee dye the back of the distress ink the back of this, because obviously distress inking just a full bit of kind of white is not going to necessarily look very great. So I'm just going to distress ink the front piece, you know, so that you can kind of see there how that goes. So we've got the piece of paper there that you can tuck inside of the envelope. So cute. And then here, just tucking into the top. Actually, I wonder whether we could just have this big round tag, because obviously that's got the same image as what's on the banner. So let's just see. Now cutting circles is not really my forte, so you know, I probably would have been better off doing this slightly slower off camera, but again, you know, as I say, I didn't obviously know which pieces I was going to be using, so you just have to then go with the flow really. But I don't know whether that's going to fit, because obviously we did glue quite a wide section down. Oh, it doesn't fit, but I could always cut that down slightly more, because obviously it's got that green border. So now this is where I'm really going to make a really awful job of this. So look away now. Look away now. Ah, I can see it's already looking horrendous. Oh well, never mind. I'm sure, I mean, I'm just here giving you ideas. I'm not suggesting that you use my methods at all. Right. Let's see if that now fits. Ah, yes, it fits. So, you know, and again, I mean, I suppose that's part of the flexibility, isn't it? Because you can then kind of cut things down and things to kind of suit yourself a little bit more. Oops. Now, obviously, you know, if I were going to now be using this, I would probably stick this onto some coffee dyed paper, because obviously I've got the, you know, other printing on the back. I would stick this onto some coffee dyed paper like that, cut around it so it's exactly the same shape and size, and then possibly stitch around it on the sewing machine, because that would look really cute. And then obviously just pop it in there. So then obviously just on this piece you've got journaling space here. You've got your little label, which again I would probably do the same with that. Just back it onto some coffee dyed paper. Maybe stitch around it, or maybe not even stitch around it. Unfortunately my sewing machine's not in the same room as me, so I can't kind of quickly dash and do that. Then obviously you've got this one here, which again you'd have journaling space on the back if you were to do that. And then obviously if you open your envelope, you've got more journaling space here on your little kind of, like a stationery piece, you know, like another stationery piece. So, you know, that's kind of that really. So, and obviously this is how you could kind of have it on a journaling page. You could have it hung at the top and kind of just paper clipped on, or, you know, held on with a bulldog clip or a little peg or something. Or obviously you could kind of glue the flap down, and then just, you know, cut aside or something to have it as a little pocket on itself on the page, or cut along the top, have it as a pocket on the page. You know, any of those ways would work. And I will just quickly show you kind of if you were using, say, the background pages in a journal. So for instance, this one, and again, you know, I would ideally coffee dye these, to be honest. That's how cute that would look on that page. So, you know, if you try and imagine this coffee dyed, and then this one paper clipped on the top, or held with a bulldog clip or something on the top, and then literally open it up, and you've got obviously your lovely journaling space here, and you've got all those different pieces in the you know, envelope itself. So that's probably kind of as much as I can do, really, because it's 50 minutes in now, so otherwise I'll be here kind of all day, and I can hear movement now. My boys are now getting up, so time for breakfast now. So obviously these are the kind of pieces that we have designed and created during this video. I think they've turned out really, really cute, so I hope that you guys kind of think so as well. And really fun to work with something just really kind of different colours and different kind of theme. For me, I found that really kind of fun, so hopefully you guys did too. So thanks ever so much for watching, and I will see you again next time. Thanks very much. Bye.